Welcome back. Antiques collector Larry Maki returning for his monthly visit on this Monday afternoon. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I love this. This is so
great
good.
to have you. We love having you.
Thank you.
We are checking out a record today that, amongst other things, but we're starting with this record, Larry. It's from the 1930s, and it's not your average record. I'm going to pull it out of the casing, but it's massive.
Yeah.
Why? It's like from the 1930s, but why is it so big? Check this out.
This is what the radio stations did. These were called electrical transcriptions. And when a show was on, this happens to be the Lawrence Welk show, but when a show was on, they would automatically cut a record. This is a 16-inch record, so you can't play it at home. I wish you could. It would be fun to do this, but you have to have a special unit to be able to play it. So a lot of people collect them and hang them on their walls as if they have a room that suits, like for their music room or something. But they would be wonderful to listen. The radio stations can still play them, but
you're not going to be able to play this on a standard record player.
No,
certainly
never at all.
It's massive.
No. And yet this is what they did. So a live show would be on, and then the performer could listen to it after, or the sponsor could take a look at it and listen to it if they wanted to inject something or say, next time can we do this or that. But they're hard to find because in 1950 they invented the tape. The
cassette or the 8-track.
Yep, and then they threw them away. So they're becoming scarce. You know, these things, especially with certain programs. Like if you had the Lone Ranger or Boston Blackie or something like that, they become very popular.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And speaking of different types of things that you could get on these records, Buck Rogers, which is...
Yeah, so I brought in a couple of Buck Roger pistols. One is the regulation size, and it has its designation on an X something, whatever, you know, and they're just air pistols, and you could crank it and then it would make a pop noise. But this is the boys' official one, and that was...
Were these toys that people could buy in the store?
Absolutely. Buck Rogers was so hot. Like they've made books and movies and comics and everything about Buck Rogers. And it was Buck Rogers of the 21st century.
Right. Now, the Buck Rogers I remember was in like the 80s and 90s.
Yes, they kept doing it. Yeah, they made remakes of it even then.
So remakes. So the original was when? What decades?
This would have been the 30s and 40s.
So redone many times over. Very cool.
And
quite
this
substantial. They feel quite...
They are. And this is the girls' edition, and it's called a Wilma.
The Wilma.
The Wilma is a little harder to find. They didn't produce as many Wilmas as they did the big ones.
I like
for
the bigger
boys.
gun. This is more my style. I like this one.
Yeah.
Feels comfortable.
They're very hard to come by, especially in this condition. They're absolutely wonderful. And people, it's part of the toy collecting.
Oh, totally.
And toys are hot.
And it says Buck Rogers right on the side.
It says Buck Rogers, yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very nice.
And, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I brought another gun in. Now it's cute.
That's a gun.
That's a gun. It's a water pistol.
Oh, that's fun.
I brought it in not because it's super old. It's from the 60s, 70s, late 60s, 70s. But they're becoming collectible now, this kind of thing, because that generation is getting to an age where they want their stuff back, as I've said before. And this is one of the things that is so unique. It's such a different-looking water pistol. You couldn't, looking at it, you couldn't figure out what it was. But
true, but any child that picks this up and has it in their bathtub will figure it out in 2 seconds.
They would just be...
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool.
They would love that.
Yeah.
And the last thing I brought...
A pipe. Who doesn't bring a pipe on Midday on Monday?
Well, that's right. And I brought this because the arts and craft movement, these kind of things are becoming so collectible now. People just love the workmanship of an ordinary guy that would be in his house just carving, and he would produce a beautiful little item like that. That carving of that alligator on there is exquisite, and it's a workable pipe.
Is it wooden?
It's wooden, yeah. And to get that carved in the hole all the way through, and one piece of wood, it fascinates people, and the arts and crafts movement is becoming very collectible. Eh?
It is, truly.
And this one's old. This one, I would guess that this one is, again, the 30s or 40s.
Are you going to try smoking out of it at all?
I don't do that kind of stuff.
But
No.
tell me this, if it's wooden,
No.
how does it not burn the actual wood?
Well, it's treated. This one isn't treated like the regular pipes, where
Sure.
some of them had Meerschaum in them, and some of them were very hard wood. You know,
Yes.
briar. The pipes. This one, you'd have to just let it work itself.
Sure.
And if you smoke that funny tobacco, I think you'd be okay. I don't think it would hurt that pipe too
No,
bad.
just in case you're interested. My grandpa
Yeah.
used to smoke a pipe.
There was, in those eras, if you look at the pictures of the TVs, everybody smoked something.
Yes.
And they were constantly smoking.
Right.
And in the universities, when you went to the university in the 40s, every young man had a pipe.
Yeah, crazy,
They were
eh?
walking around, everybody had a pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
trying
amazing.
to figure out in my head if I would find any man smoking a pipe attractive, especially a young man. It seems odd to me.
I think it's the era. You would
It's
have at that
it's the
time. I
era.
swear
I
you would have. Yeah,
completely agree.
there he was, you know, sitting there and
Smoking his pipe, so
in his
refined.
yeah, in his blazer and you know, there was a time. Yeah.
Great little
Yeah.
collectibles today,
Yeah.
Larry. Thank you so much.
There's a flea market on the weekends at the. I know this is. I'm not making this name up, but it's called Moccasin Square Gardens on the
That's right.
reserve. Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, and they have it there every Sunday, and it's fun to go to if people want to see that. And
Yes.
So that's something to keep in mind for Sundays.
Okay, Sunday, what time? People
It
want to know?
starts at 8 o'clock and then runs till 2.
Yes, great place
So,
to find little
yeah,
treasures.
Yeah, it is.
It's
You can
fun.
find stuff there. It's gonna be
Absolutely.
fun.
And if you have something that you want to have checked out, I get calls quite often into the newsroom looking for your email address.
Yeah.
So definitely take down the email address if you have a question about something you have lurking around the house. You want to know what it's all about.
Or you want to get rid of it. I'm your man.
There's your man. All right. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. Quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.